Here's what most people do with management. They give an employee 10 things to do. The employee sucks life at 2 of them. Just horrible. They do 6 passably well, and they do 2 better than any other human on the planet could possibly do. And what do we do as managers? We go focus on the 2 they suck at. And they're like, all right, fella, we're going to get you there. And we're going to build a performance improvement program. And I'm going to coach you on a week-by-week basis. And it's like, no, stop that. Stop making them do the 2 things they suck at. If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it spends its whole life thinking it's stupid. Go figure out the 2 things that they're a miracle at. That just became their job. That's the thing that they should be doing. In a 1,000-person organization, 200 people do 80% of the work. And you think like, oh, okay, well, that's a pretty heavily weighted teeter-totter, but I buy it. But zoom in. Of those 200 people, 40 people are doing 80% of that work. Of those 40, 8 are doing 80% of that work. Of those 8, 1.6 are doing 80% of that work. It equates to about 1 person doing 40% of the work in a 1,000-person organization. Here's what's crazy. Ready? This is the insanity behind the way that we build businesses is most businesses look at that distribution as a risk. So, our Goldman Sachs Ivy League douchebag comes in and says, oh, I see an existential crisis on my spreadsheet. 1 person is producing too much value. We need to de-risk. We need to diversify. Well, what do? They flatten the hierarchy. They're by intention aiming at average. So if every organization is a hierarchical structure where the more valuable the resource, the higher up the hierarchy they go, what these people are doing is they're trying to flatten the hierarchy. But what they don't realize is the output is a visual juxtaposition. So a hierarchy is a pyramid. So imagine a pyramid in your mind's eye. And I do my best to describe this to those of you that are listening if you can't see me. Imagine a pyramid in your mind's eye. The base of the pyramid is your lowest output. The higher up the pyramid you go, the more output those people are capable of. So if you were to visualize the output, it's actually an inverse pyramid. It almost looks like an hourglass, almost, right? So it's a pyramid at the base, and then an inverse pyramid visualizes the output. Well, if you flatten your pyramid, you don't decrease the output in the proportion that you're flattening. You decrease the output exponentially. You disallow for all of your most outstanding output, which again is insane, but it's how we're taught to build businesses. It's the assembly line model. It's Quicken Loans. So what you can do, if you want to, is you can index towards Pareto. You can index towards finding, and dude, here's the other thing that I believe very, very, very strongly. I think every human has the opportunity to be Pareto talent. They just need to be in the environment that would allow them to grow. And if you think about the way, like I've got some friends that'll do things like, if an employee has to come to work, punch in, punch out, ask to pee, has their screenshot monitored, or their desktop monitor with screenshots, has all their keystrokes managed, like in what world is that an environment that would allow a miracle to articulate themselves as such? You're telling this person you're a commodity, you're a cog in the wheel, you're a piece of my machine, and you do what you're told. There's the theory of intervention says that managers think that work is better when they intervene. It's not true, obviously, right? It's not true.
Yeah.
So if we can create environments where people are actually, authorship creates ownership. I just learned that phrase yesterday from Rafael Cortez. Authorship creates ownership. Put people in a position to be autonomous, to create, to grow, to build, to really inject themselves in something. And what's absolutely insane about it, dude, and at this point I've hired and managed hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. It's probably approaching about 1,000 people by now. They do. There's nothing more soul-sucking than being a business owner and feeling like your business is a sled that you're dragging up a muddy hill by yourself. You've got these straps on your back and they're digging into your shoulders and they're cutting deep, and you're dragging this business up this muddy hill all by yourself. And every person you hire, you feel like is another person you're throwing on the back of the sled. And that's the way that it works, because you have to tell them what to do, when to do it, where to do it, how to do it, why to do it, et cetera. You are the manager. Where when you start figuring out how to hire people that grab their own strap it to your sled and help you pull, it's like, oh my God. And then when they start to outrun you, dude, holy shit. But it requires a change in paradigm as to how we treat people. Here's what most people do with management. They give an employee 10 things to do. The employee sucks life at 2 of them. Just horrible. They do 6 passably well, and they do 2 better than any other human on the planet could possibly do. And what do we do as managers? We go focus on the 2 they suck at. And they're like, all right, fella, we're going to get you there. And we're going to build a performance improvement program. And I'm going to coach you on a week by week basis. And it's like, no, stop that. Stop making them do the 2 things they suck at. If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it spends its whole life thinking it's stupid. Go figure out the 2 things that they're a miracle at. That just became their job. That's the thing that they should be doing. When I sold my business for an 8-figure sum. I'm rich. It's fun to say. One person managed 40% of my revenue in a 100-person employee. So there's a Pareto distribution. His name was John Moran. One guy, John Moran, best Google Ads manager in the world, managed 40% of my revenue. Here's what's really interesting about John Moran. And when we sold, he was an employee that became my business partner. I had to snap golden handcuffs on him, so I gave him 10% of the business just so he wouldn't leave because he was so critically valuable to me. John could not follow processes. Couldn't or wouldn't. I don't know which. But when you're managing Google ad campaigns, there's a lot of specific nuances that need to be adhered to. If you change the budget, you have to notate that in the project management tool so that the finance team knows how to bill. If you change the bid strategy, you have to notate that. If you change the geographic target, if you change the ads. So there's a lot of managerial process around managing Google ad campaigns. John was an artist. He was a literal genius, like a true honest to goodness savant. And he would move so fast and make decisions so effortlessly that the management processes we built around managing campaigns were huge inhibitors to him, and he just wouldn't do them. But it made like if your Google ad manager is not telling you when the budget changes, you don't know how to build a client. That's a non-functional business. Most businesses, and let me be bold here, Matt. All businesses would have fired John Moran. They wouldn't have kept him on staff long enough to realize, oh, this is a literal genius. They would have been like, oh, this guy's non-compliant. They would have fired him. I went the other way.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the smartest guy I've ever worked with in my life. I hired an employee to follow John around so that, oh, John made a bid change. Let me notate that in the project management tool so we know to bill. John made a budget change. I benefited massively. The only reason I have any money is because of John Moran. I had the best Google Ads guy in the whole wide world working for my agency, but no other agency would have put up with his bullshit. They would have termed it as bullshit. I know it's not bullshit. I know if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it spends its whole life thinking it's stupid. John was a fish that couldn't climb the tree. I didn't need the fish to climb the tree. I needed the fish to swim, right? So splitting work up and allowing people to be literal miracles. Here's the thing about it. It's non-scalable. It's not a scalable model. The problem is scale, and this is maybe the boldest thing I'll say all day, scale is stupid. Scale is bad. The fact that we keep telling entrepreneurs to scale is the dumbest, most short-sighted, idiot-ridden, ideological framework in the business world. Scale means efficiency. Efficiency means a decrease in profitability. Matt, everything that scales, a machine can do. Everything that scales, AI can do. So if it scales, surprise, surprise, you don't have a job. It's forced obsolescence. Now, this isn't true at the top, right? This isn't true if you're Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, Facebook. They benefit from scale because they have the mechanism that scales. Small business owners don't. We don't benefit from scale. We benefit from inefficiency. We benefit from a lack of scale. The things that don't scale are the things that you can actually charge people to do. If you want to make money, go figure out what does not scale. It's weird that everybody's like, look what AI can do. Look what AI can do. And I'm like, yeah, you're just finding all the things that you can no longer charge for. What you should be doing is look what AI can't do. That's what you can charge for. Right? AI can't have this conversation. Not really. I know that there's the whole Google Notebook that you can build to, but not really, right? Like there's so many things. AI can't love you. AI can't hop on a call and say to me what Matt Drinkon said to me, which was, hey man, you're a sight for sore eyes, right? Like I don't have a relationship with, there's so many things AI cannot do that are insanely valuable that do not scale. So if everything I'm saying to you, if you think to yourself as you're listening to this, oh, well, dude, that doesn't scale. You can't build a process around that. You can't build a standard operating procedure around that. Great, good. What doesn't scale will make you money. What scales will put you right out of business, especially in the world of automation, process management, software development, and AI. So treating people like scalable assets is the fastest way to find yourself in your own self-created prison cell of obsolescence. treating people like miracles, each of which is completely unique to the other, and putting them in a position to really show what it is they're capable of, well, now you're going to build an organization that's going to last forever, you know?